of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people, so just hold and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public face, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look where the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
Top of the evening to you, everyone. A pleasant good evening and welcome to tonight's program of Over to You, a program for the people, by the people. It is for you and it is by you. On this, the 23rd day of August 2026, I welcome all of you, my brothers and sisters who are already present here and those who are to come in. All right, before I even do the roll call and all of that, let me first update you because I had promised you last evening that I'll be bringing back Mr. Colin Barnwell and Mr. Israel Gordon this evening. But, the back and forth of life, things come up, right? And people have things to do, whether it is family obligations or whatever it may be. So they wouldn't be able to make it here this evening, but probably next week, they may be able to come in back, okay? But we are still thankful that we were able to have them last evening in what I would have believed to be a very, very good discourse in where we would have covered a lot of things. We've brought in a lot of historical context into what was being said last evening. But with all that we would have said last evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we've highlighted a lot of the issues, right? All right, whether it was, we were talking about coalition and, different things, the PPPC regime. We talk a little bit about the Guyana Elections Commission and its posture, right? And listen, these are all issues. And how do you get rid of issues, ladies and gentlemen? We must have solutions. So I'm going to do the roll call and then, we're going to get in. Of course, you guys know it is Sunday, so it's always rapid fire Sunday. All right, so it's going to be rapid fire this evening. Flash Gordon, I see you in the house already. But let me get into tonight's roll call. Puran Ramdas, Region 2 is in the house. Good evening to you. Sandra Hanover, the Freedom Fighter, is here. A pleasant good evening to you. Rhonda Tuesday is in the house. Good evening to you, Rhonda. Miss Darkus John is here. Good evening, Miss John. Let's see who else we have. Francis Keith Rycliffe. Melanie Damashana is in the house. Yes. That's one of the housing projects that was built out by the late, great Lyndon Forbes, Samson Bornham. You guys did a fantastic job yesterday of you even edified me quite a bit because some of them I didn't know, you know, and you guys did a fantastic job. Yvonne Rodriguez, yes, blessings to you. Barbados is in the house. Desmond Grant, good evening to you, sir. Eva is in the house, good evening. Floretta Hamilton is here, good evening to you. Don Wilson, a pleasant good evening. Yvonne Meredith, good to see you. Kenneth D. Flormont, Maryland is in the house, good evening to you, Kenneth. Miss Mary Figueroa is here, our first Canadian. Keith W., good evening. Miss Pam Halls is here. Pleasant good evening to you. Miss Brenda Braithwaite, hope you are doing well, and a pleasant good evening to you. Beatrice Shelby is in the house, good evening. Rita Clark is here. A pleasant good evening to you. Jillian Solomon is here. Good evening to you. Shondell C. Canterbury is in the house. A pleasant good evening to you, Shondell. Let's see who else. Rita Clark, I've already got you. Norville, Berkshire, the state of Texas, the massive state of Texas. Brenda Harry is here. Good evening to you. Harriet Hall, a pleasant good evening. Corinne Jordan is in the house. Deslyn Wilson, by way of Victoria, is here. Loretta Argyle is in the house, and the freedom fighter, Miss Maxine Monroe, our executive producer, Mr. Gavin Caesar. Marina Edwards is here. Vernie Lewis is in the house. Good to see you. Flash Garden in the house. Monica Jones, welcome. The Honorable Mr. Victor Ben, our second Canadian in the house. Beverly Bovell is here. Good evening to you. Althea Wade, good evening. Miss Hazel Johnson, then we have to have pace and power tonight. Miss Hazel Johnson is here. Good evening to you, Miss Hazel Johnson. Hope that you're keeping well. Lawrence James is in the house. Susan London is here. Monica Jones, I think I called you before. Ian Harry is here. Michelle Justice, Don Sampson. Joyce Prince Kingston is in the house. Miss Brenda Casey is here. Linden is in the house. Good evening, Linden. Herman Little is here. Carl Miller is in the house. Patricia Sana is here. Jennifer Albert, good evening. Paulette Hawk Kippins is in the house. Good evening to you. Miss Fidel Albert is here. Rajendra D. Knott is in the house. Samantha Bellamy, welcome to tonight's broadcast. Lynette Fraser, good to see you. Marvin Douglas is in the house. Andrew Griffith is here. Good evening. Annie Denise is here. Pleasant good evening to you. Ewart Eastman is in the house. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's broadcast of Over to You. And we wanna piggyback a little bit on yesterday's program and pick up on one thing, because we seem to be heading down that road again, right, ladies and gentlemen? They say it's a good thing not to wait until the last moment, but to try to nip things in the butt early, right? You want to do that. Like Barry Jack Dio, we should have nipped that in the butt early, but we allow that monster to mutate, right? And when it mutates, the job is much more challenging, eh? All right? When you allow the monsters to mutate, you're in trouble. But ladies and gentlemen, let's touch on this thing of coalition government, right? Because it was brought up yesterday, and after what I would have saw in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, it has really left a bitter taste in my mouth. I don't know about you guys, but it left a bitter taste in my mouth. And here, I am not going to say that coalition government is not good. It is good. It is excellent. Where I believe the problem lies is that when you are pulling together a coalition, right? I believe that the problem lies in the people being able to vet their leaders. You got to make sure that you put leaders in place that is all in. You have to make sure that you are putting leaders in place that are people first. All right? That was not the case, ladies and gentlemen, this past 2025 elections. It was not. right? It was like crabs in a barrel. Every man, Jack wanted to be leader. Everybody start talking about each other. You guys saw it firsthand. Tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm telling untruths this evening. You guys saw it, right? Again, I'm not saying coalition government. It's a good thing. It's a great initiative. It brings so many. It allows so many the latitude of having a seat at the table as we make pertinent decisions with regards to the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. But my goodness, and when I look at it, it is like still some people are asleep with what would have occurred in 2025. We need to get up. We need to get up, and we need to start showing the electorate that we are alert and we are well. Alert and well doesn't mean going and stand up with the PPP and hug up with the PPP. Because then what confidence do you leave in your people? What confidence do you leave in your people? You see, ladies and gentlemen, we have to really think on a real high level. There is politics, right? What we call politics. And then there's what you call, real deeper politics, institutional politics, right? Where you got to understand the institution that you're a part of. And I think a lot of the people who would have gotten up and walk out, all right, lack that institutional knowledge, or maybe didn't kick in. They just listened to word of mouth. Oh, I would vote for you. Form your own party. And everybody keep going back and forth. Yes, Run the Tuesday. Yes, I will do so. So what Run the Tuesday is asking me to do is to invite the leader of the PNCR, and by extension, the APNU, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton, to come and join me right here on Over to You. Well, you know what, Mr. On the Tuesday, you have requested that Mr. Norton comes on this program, and I will extend an invite to Mr. Aubrey C. Norton to come and join me right here on Over to You. Okay? So you guys heard me. All right? I will invite the leader of the PNCR and the APNU to join me right here on Over to You at your request. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we continue with this whole concept of coalition and what it means, right? We know that it is inclusive, right? It is inclusive. It is very difficult to manage, right? Because you have a lot of different players, and you're going to have different ideology coming to the table, right? But at some point we have to meet in the middle, right? We have to meet in the middle, and we have to agree to a way forward, right? It seemed to be very, very difficult. A very, very difficult proposition in 2025 as we went back and forth, up and down, right? Back and across. And in the end, the parties didn't lose. The people of Guyana lost. The voting bloc of the APNU lost. Okay? They lost. So I don't agree with people crossing party lines. But sometimes we kind of have to look at the bigger picture sometimes. I'm not agreeing with what they're doing, because I believe a lot of them is not doing that behind ideology. They're doing it behind financial gain, access to money. Okay? And to me, that's a major problem. That's a major problem right there. Okay? So again, there is no issue with having coalition politics and having a coalition represent the opposition at the 2030 or whenever it is, because election can be called early. But then, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot forget, we are talking about a coalition here. Let's say, for example, Forward Guyana Movement, the WIN Party, and the APNU decide to form a coalition. You see, we got to think out front. Ask yourself the question, ladies and gentlemen, who is going to be the presidential candidate? You got to start looking at these things early. You can't say, oh, we going it. When the bridge come, we're going to cross it. No, we saw what happened in 2025. Why be repetitive? Why be repetitive? Okay? We see what happened in 2025. I'll tell you guys something. If what happened in 2025 happens again, you wouldn't see me ever again on programs. You can inbox me and talk to me, but you would never see me on a program again. Okay? Because I don't believe in repetitive failures. I do not. Especially silly failures where we're not thinking outside of the box. We have to think. All right? We have to be able to think. We have to be able to strategize. Okay? We always got to have plan A, plan B, plan C. Like I always talk about our standards in Guyana. It is way too low. We have allowed way too many politicians to be able to recycle themselves. If they have failed, they have failed. Recycle, remove, next in line. But when you Guyanese, when my Guyanese brothers and sisters gonna sit down and continue to think that these politicians is the best thing and there's no other way they can turn. No, there's always a way. You may have the best people to lead the country sitting right in your community, but they're not coming forward because you're not going to support them. They don't have money. What's going on now in Guyana? The people of Guyana have turned to supporting corruption now. And that's not going to be sustainable. Because the same large economies that call themselves your friends today is going to come and grab up those same corrupt individuals when they've already gotten what they wanted, which is your resources. Here goes Andrew Griffith. In 2020, in the 2025 elections, the leaders told the voters to split the vote. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Okay, the votes were split. Now what? Now what? What are we doing? The votes were split. So what are we doing now? A year, September is going to be a year passed by. No needling move. What impact? Everybody talking about, oh, this person is exposing this and that person is exposing. Okay, you're exposing. What was the impact of your exposing? Look, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm saying honestly here is that there must be a plan to action. Right? There must be a plan in place to action. What is going to be a plan of action? Diplomacy? Guys, does diplomacy work with the PPPC? No. Diplomacy hasn't proven successful. Look, the opposition, just the last sitting of parliament, the opposition got up and they made their voices, or they did a fantastic job, all on sundry, for the opposition. And what was the bottom line? $55 billion. That was the bottom line. Passed and approved. I want you guys to listen carefully about what I spoke about last night when I spoke about a threshold to get certain bills passed. If, let's say, the PPP is sitting as least party in government and they got 65% of the seats or 60% of the seats, the threshold must not be 60. The threshold can be 70, it can be 72. It can be 75. Because to get anything passed, they will need to have 75% of the parliament sitting to vote favorably to that bill. What does that bring about? It brings about negotiation. It gives your opposition a chance to actually partake in the development of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, as you look at it right now, is your opposition being a part of the development of the nation? No. No. So the politics in Guyana, guys, just to put it in a nutshell, the framework that we have right now in Guyana with the winner take all has deemed a tremendous failure to the Guyanese people and Guyana since after Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. It has failed completely. Winner take all, he was a leader for all. Oh yes. The East Indians of Guyana would have gotten more land under Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham than any other president. Well, these here now, what they're doing, they're thieving land. So legitimate and thieving is two different things. All right? So if you want to say, oh, we got more land now, you should ask yourself how you get those lands. And you got a long line of thousands of Guyanese, some of them in their 70s approaching 80, have their application in for decades and still can't get a piece of land in their native country. What Desmond Wilson saying, Patterson didn't give Mr. Hughes. Well, you know, Ms. Deslin Wilson, look, you're making a point. And, you know, this is for, I would say, all the former ministers, all the players today. And she's talking about David Patterson and the whole negotiation and all of that stuff. Look, all I'm going to say is this. These guys got to look internally, deep within themselves, and ask themselves if they would have made the right decision. Okay? If the decision that they made was in the best interest of the people of Guyana. All right? That's all I got to say. All I am is a political contributor. And of course, I contribute tremendously to Guyanese on the ground back home who is struggling. Okay? I do. Right? That's all I am. Right? I am dedicated and loyal to the Guyanese people. Everything is about them. All right? Maybe, guys, maybe, you know, you guys need to start thinking down the same line. And maybe we're gonna see a major difference. Right? Maybe. I'm just saying, maybe. All right. Maybe it is that you guys think so much about yourself and about the powers that you hold in your hands. Right. But you got to look at what you're using that power for. Are you using it for the greater good of Guyanese and Guyana? Or are you using that power for your own self-interest and enhancing your pockets from a financial perspective. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to speak about who is going behind the back of the people and getting contracts and all of that stuff. I'll leave that for another day. I'm going to leave that for people to come forward and clear their names. I'm not going to come out here and accuse anybody. I will allow people the latitude to come out and clear their names. That is all. Because if there's one thing that I would have a problem with, is people coming in and getting into politics to use and deceive the Guyanese people. That's all I'm saying. I like to keep it real, guys. This is our program and we keep it real right here. Again, let's jump back to coalition. The question I'm going to ask you guys this evening, because we're talking about coalition here. WIN has 16 seats. APNU has 12. Forward Guyana have 1. Right? You got to include Miss Simone Broom's, her party. You got to include AFC. You got to include all those little fringe parties. Can't leave them out. It's still a party. So I'm going to simply ask the question. Since WIN has the largest number of seats, are you guys telling me that Azzuddin Mohammed is going to be the next presidential candidate? Are you guys telling me that in a coalition? Really? Has Azzuddin Mohammed really introduced himself to the media? To us, the social media presenters? Has he ever visited one of the shows and come out and really represented himself? Because that's what a leader has to come out and introduce himself to the people and tell the people a bit about himself. Because what you're trying to do, you're trying to sell your brand. You're trying to tell the people why they should vote for you, why they should believe that you are the man that's going to fix things. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really jumping out front. I'm jumping way out front here. Because everybody is fighting and talking, oh, they should collate and they should do this and they should do that together. But we have to look at what may happen in the end. Not leaving out Miss Amanza Walton this year. She might see everybody in the cluster as being inferior to her as a leader. Is that so? These are questions. These are questions. Could it put that pending coalition in a very volatile position? We cannot sit down and say, we hope that they're able to negotiate. We hope that they're able to get it right. No, man. We got to nail down some facts for the people of Guyana. Come on, this can't continue. How long are you guys willing to carry this out? It can't continue. Simple. We need to have a bona fide leader in place, which I believe that leader exists. Okay? We need to have a bona fide leader in place, a leader of character, a leader that brings to the table the necessary qualities that are needed for leadership. Okay, because they are qualities that are needed for leadership. I know that I'm speaking from a higher level position here. Maybe a lot of Guyanese on the ground may want to settle for less. But I am just saying from my perspective, I want the best for you guys. I believe after what you guys have gone through that you deserve the best. That's what I believe. I'm just giving you my opinion as to what I believe. After Guyanese would have gone through those floods, those 23 years of conditioning under the PPP, this for 6 years in an oil-rich, fastest-growing economy, still we have 58% in poverty, 35% in abject poverty. And all the different things you've gone through, extrajudicial killings, you've gone through a whole lot. I'm not just saying what I'm saying because I want to say it. I'm saying what I'm saying because of all the atrocities that you guys have experienced. I believe it's time that Guyanese live with a measure of peace, prosperity, love one for another, no matter what ethnic group you're from. 60 years, ladies and gentlemen, and look where we are. The Carter Center got to come in and talk about our electoral matters. We cannot talk about it. We cannot get together and solve any of our issues ourselves. Here you have a runaway government in place that doesn't even want to engage opposition. And here we're talking about a coalition, putting a coalition in place. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll say this. I look across the board. Can win an election on its own? No. Can the APNU win an election on its own? I would have to right now say no. It would require so much work. Can they do it if the plan and the strategy is on point 100%? Yes, they can. Do we have the people that are willing to do that work? I don't know. You have some. I cannot speak for everyone. Because we've all figured out right here that this thing is all about ego. If I'm not getting my limelight, I sulk up at you. I don't want to see you successful. Okay? Man, we got to be bigger than that. We got to be able to think outside of the box. Okay? We got to be able to think outside of the box. Ladies and gentlemen, I am prepared to contribute in any way possible for the betterment of Guyanese. I don't have to do a program. I don't have to come before you guys. I don't. I can do other things. I can do other things. But is it a need to come before you guys? Yes. Yes. Yes, because we build the cat here. We don't allow anything to pass right here. Whether it's an ambassador, whomever it is, we do not allow it. You guys see that? We don't. Wrong is wrong. If you're wrong, we're going to build the cat. Nav Joe, the PPP must go at all costs. I spoke earlier and I talk about the leader of the Win Party coming out and selling himself to the people. He has got some convincing to convince the Guyanese people that he is the man for the job. You can't get Mark Benchcap, Kidaki Amsterdam, Cheryl Duncan, and all of them in the restaurant at the front serving the people. And you doing your servitude from at the back, washing the dishes. But then at election time, you want to be brought forward as the presidential candidate. You see, guys, and I hope that there are winning people on the program that is listening, because they're quick to run and curse people. You have to sell your leader. You have to sell your leader. Your leader have to prove himself competent. You cannot sell garbage to the Guyanese people. at least I know from my perspective, I am prepared to not sit down here and tolerate that. You got to come to the forefront. You must speak to the people. You must clear accusations that you have against you. Oh, we're going to go with the narrative that, oh, Irfaan Ali had 19 fraud charges. He won the election and all of a sudden they were cleared. No, Guyanese. Look at the government that you have now. Look what you have now. 150-acre farm, amongst other things. These guys are filthy rich. Off of who? Off of the Guyanese people that they continue to neglect. Are you guys willing to accept more of that? And more so, the guy has to come to the forefront because he came from the belly of the beast. He came from the PPP. So there's more to prove to the people. To sit down and tell the people, oh, you must accept this, or we gonna curse you. Oh, please, I'll have you guys curse all day. You ain't doing me anything. You ain't touch this thick skin here, so you're not doing me anything. Ian Harry, Mohammed can't be president. He's sanctioned. Well, here, Ian Harry, let's go down a little deeper here, brother. Let's go down a little deeper here. How long has these sanctions been in place? How long has this court matter been going on? Could it be that this court matter is going to go on for 5 years? Ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about distractions, so that people can get to their ultimate goal and their bottom line of getting the resources of Guyana for next to nothing, boy, you don't know who and who is willing to play in that game. All right? You don't know. All right? And you know, some people just come out and say, oh, this person is speaking for their soup. That person is speaking. Listen, I'm in a position where I don't need nothing. I am so content. I would come home and do work for the Guyanese people for nothing. For nothing. Right? People might be like, why? Because it makes sense. We are falling that far behind. It makes proper logical sense to me. Okay? So, I don't come on and sing for no soup. There's nobody that could come and tell me, oh, you have to speak to this narrative. Nobody. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say nobody, I mean nobody. Okay? Nobody. I will never be up for sale. I come into this world with integrity. Okay? And I'm going to leave it with all that integrity intact. That is my intention. All right? And you know they got to say never. I'm saying it. Never, ever, ever. Can't happen. Cannot. Will not deceive the people. 100% loyalty. You guys give me the latitude of holding a program here. With that latitude comes some measure of power. Okay? Telling you fair as it is, comes a measure of power. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't use the power. I don't have a tag that say, oh, follow Wayne Caesar. I don't have, somehow or the other, I get some type of tic-tac thing. I don't even know. Maybe I press a wrong button or do some stupidness on my phone, and Barry Jack Dio is following me. I don't even look at that thing. It's my brother Gavin looked at it and said, hey, man, you got Barry Jack Dio following you. You know? Ladies and gentlemen, let's vet our leaders. Let's put leaders in place that are there to serve your interests. It's a representational democracy. Your leaders are supposed to be representing you. Right? Your leaders have to put policies in place to help you. No, look, ladies and gentlemen, look. I'm gonna go there this evening. We coming up on program time. But look who we fighting about. The GCOM commissioners. As with the Mohammed, you're leader of the opposition. Get with the 3 commissioners and lay down your law. Who you talking about? Lay your law down and say, look, this is my timetable. I want responses. I am now the new LO. You gonna come, but you're so petty. I gotta call you out on this. Boy, you're ridiculous. You ain't even give them a chance to show that, hey, public, I am the new LO. These guys are unwilling to work for me. I give specific orders and my vision that I would like to see carried out, and it was not carried out. That is poor. That is what you call piss poor leadership. It's like me seeing Rita Clark and saying Rita Clark doesn't do a good job, but I never gave her an assignment. How can I say she does not do a good job or she's not good? Where is my measure? Where is my empirical evidence that Rita Clark does not do well? Look, the advisors on the win side, y'all are doing this thing here is despicable and shouldn't have ever happened. Despicable. Should have never happened. And then the worst thing is that the gentleman was constitutionally placed there. I am telling you guys now, even if Comrade Norton come out and say to these guys, you need to retire, the guys could look at him and say, to hell with you, because he doesn't determine that. He doesn't have the necessary power to remove those gentlemen. And still people are hustling to blame Comrade Norton for that. You can't blame him. Those men are receiving a salary stipend or whatever it is that they're receiving. We don't know their financial positions. This is poor, ladies and gentlemen. This is poor. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. The Constitution is clear that the commissioners were seated there constitutionally. In the time of the APNU and the AFC coalition, the AFC would have never really raised that matter. If they would have raised that matter, maybe, ladies and gentlemen, a new regime would have been created where when you have a new opposition leader come in, well, we have to review the GCOM commissioners' seats and distribute them proportionally based on the amount of seats every party has. As it sits right now, Forward Guyana Movement would not have a say with 1 seat. I'll be quite clear on that. WIN have 16 seats, the APNU has 12. So WIN has 4 more seats than the APNU. They probably would be entitled to 2 commissioners and the APNU 1. Speaking in a world outside of our constitution, talking about a regime that would have had to be already in place. Right? And when I speak of that, ladies and gentlemen, it segues me right back into the 2020 election, where Order 60 would have created a new regime. Was never passed in Parliament. None of that stuff. The 2020 elections was illegal. It wasn't a legal election. The results was planned, both internal and externally. Everybody knew what they wanted. The commissioners stay. Unless the APNU is able to convince them to step away. Ladies and gentlemen, as we getting on closing time, remember, we've talked about this over and over, where we speak about the fact that people, they fight for power. They fight. And then when they get it, they come and they just sit down. They're tired. They just sit. That's it. No work, no nothing. I have the power. I have control. I'm sitting down. Look, I believe, not all, but many individuals in Guyana with political power and a sense of power is sitting there and is enjoying what is happening to the Guyanese people. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen this before, where human beings like when another human being got to come and ask them for something. They love power. They love it. And like I said before, vet your leaders, because you would be able to weed out such leaders out of your camp. They love the big talk, you know. They love the limelight. They love every time Guyana have a tragedy, they're able to come on and use the power that they have. You know, ladies and gentlemen, what are we 36? I think we're about 36 days since the MV Barima tragedy. 36 days, ladies and gentlemen. And the silence is deafening. It's deafening. It's sickening. All right? It's deafening and it is sickening. They are working now, going into all the villages, right? I'm talking about modernizing them. You see how the people just moved away from that tragedy? You see how the people just move away from taking responsibility and being accountable to the people of Guyana? And they show up in those villages, and the people rush by the numbers to worship them. And I have said it before, they have oppressed and suppressed. They will oppress and suppress those villages, that when they walk in with their money, the people shall flock to them as if they are gods. Yes, Irfan Ali, I can see why you want to have a measure of control over social media. And people like me, my ability to speak to your wrongdoings and your incompetence as a government, I can see why. You guys don't have the brain strength and the brain power to stand up to us. You can see it. You want to win every battle, but this is one that you guys have not been able to win. So therefore, you want to put laws in place with the worst attorney general in any nation across the world, the scum of the earth, okay? The law book thief, all right? To see that you guys are going to put laws in place. We await your laws. We await your laws. You are a full-fledged 100% dictatorship. It's only dictators do that. It's only dictators that have to go into the communities with 1 million security detail with you, because you know that you're not liked. You got to have security to have people come out and dance with you. Then Forbes Samson Bonham rode his horse with one security detail. That's a man. None of you can ever sit in a seat. Why am I going all the way there? You can't even put your feet close to his slippers. You guys are poor and inferior, and we're seeing it. Just look at the fastest growing economy, and it's 60% poverty rate. Just look at the water that comes through the tap for the normal Guyanese to shower with and bathe with. And when I speak of showering, it depends on if there is water pressure. Don't take credit for the CSEC and the CAPE scores. Give that credit to the parents of those students and our underpaid teachers. Give that credit to them. Put them out in the limelight. All right? Don't take the credit. It is not you. Our public servants across the board, they are underpaid. Ladies and gentlemen, before I joined the program this evening, before I started the program, I saw a clip where a group of residents attack a police officer of the Guyana Police Force. That is what you get when you weaponize the police force against the people. To the people of to the officers of the Guyana Police Force and the higher brass, you guys should understand the laws and the standing orders that the people of Guyana are your clients. You are responsible for serving and protecting them. You are not there to beat, persecute, and abuse them. You are there to serve and protect. Also, please keep it in your mind, all right, at the front of your frontal lobe, that it is these same people that pays the taxes, that gives you a uniform that you can put on every day, okay, a gun and a holster and a baton or whatever else it is that you have. Please keep that in mind. And to you in the Guyana Defense Force, when you are out there on the Venezuelan border taking fire, it is these people, it is the people on the ground in Guyana, it is these programs that come out and represent you, okay, and talk about the weapons that you got that is not good, that is not comparable to today's world, all right? We who come out and speak on you guys taking fire at the border, and you still don't own a piece of land in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Please keep that in mind when you are called out to protest, you understand me, to control people. And keep in mind that you cannot put your hands on Guyanese. The Guyana Defense Force should not be putting their hands on their own citizens. All right? Don't break the law. Don't break the law. I believe that you guys ought to be careful because you have families. All right? And if you guys continue to treat the Guyanese people the way that you're treating them, I cannot promise that one day we may experience something that we was hoping not to experience. All right? I cannot promise that. This has got to stop. This has got to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I want to make one more point, because I spoke of it yesterday. I spoke with regards to a national government. We're all on sundries at the table and all on sundries responsible for decision making. Let me just pull back here for a second and say this. When I speak of a national government, all right, I am asking for a review of everyone's records, their character, and everything. If you was fingered in murder, you have to prove that you did not murder. If you've ordered executions, you've got to prove all of that. We cannot have men who have blood on their hands, all right, serve the people of Guyana. It's like putting dog to watch egg, or a dog that'll suck egg already. What is he going to continue to do? Continue to suck egg. Putting cat to watch milk and cheese. Okay? We don't want that. We, once again, want to rebuild the fabric of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. We want to do it, ladies and gentlemen, and we can do it. All right. It got to start in our heart. And it also got to start with a willingness to want to do it, to want to work towards it. The PPP doesn't want a national government because the PPP thieves. Yes, I'm saying it right here. That's what they do. There is so much that we cannot account for. And all they do, they come back and they use their majority and they just take in money with no type of proper explanation. We got to ask ourselves the question, how long are we going to continue to tolerate this, ladies and gentlemen? It is now program time. All right. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining this weekend. I know we couldn't get our guests in this evening, but I thank you all for joining. All right. Hold the fort down. Keep your heads up. Walk with your chest up. All right. Walk with your chest up. We are still proud Guyanese. We are not proud of the representation that we currently have, but we are still proud. All right. We are here sitting as the good in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Okay. Until next Saturday, brothers and sisters. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take good care of yourselves and your family. Okay? I say to you, over to you, and good night. Enjoy your week. Let it be productive. Okay? When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.